How Eala willed herself to 3-set, 3-hour comeback win. Survive, then thrive, that's the hope for our Filipino tennis star. 3 hours of nerves, noise, and no quit, and at the end of it all last Wednesday night in Abu Dhabi, Eala did more than win, she stayed. In front of her now famous throng of Filipino fans, her match against Alexandra Sasnovich became a test of wills. At 2 hours and 51 minutes, it was the kind that stretched beyond the scoreboard. That distance was not unfamiliar, though. Back in June 2025 at the WTA 250 Eastbourne Open, right before her Wimbledon debut, Eala went the same long route, only to fall short against Maya Joint, 4-6, 6-1, 6-10, 7-12. That loss lingered. But this time, the ending differed. Read, Eala completes comeback to book Abu Dhabi Open QF seat. What separated Abu Dhabi from Eastbourne was not shot-making. Rather, it was survival. When the body faded and the margins disappeared, Eala held her ground and refused to let the moment slip. "Survived this one, thanks guys," she said in a social media post afterward. "I really tried my best in those moments to fight," she also remarked in her post-match interview. "I really tried to find the fight. And in the end, I think when I was coming back, I was able to find it. So I'm really proud of that." And she did it in the middle of a stadium with nearly no empty seats, partisan supporters screaming her name and waving blue, white, red, and yellow flags. "These moments are moments I only have dreamed about," she added. "Selling out stadiums is insane, and being in these matches in particular just stick with you. And I've had a lot of them in the past year, so I'm really happy with this win. Thank you, Miss." The win marked Eala's 5th quarterfinal appearance on the WTA Tour and set up a clash with second seed and world number 11 Ekaterina Alexandrova. It also nudged her up to number 38 in the live, unofficial WTA rankings. Her first tour-level, 250 and above, title still waits, as her lone trophy so far came at the WTA 125 in Guadalajara. Still, in the round of 16 of the Abu Dhabi Open, Eala continued to prove she can last through the longest nights and fight her way through to the toughest of wins. Get more of the latest sports news and updates on spin.ph. Notice on unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph content. Please be notified that any unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph's content and/or materials is a direct violation of its legal and exclusive rights to the same, and shall be subject to appropriate legal action/s. Eala's Odyssey, the 3-set triumph. The sun hung low over the stadium, casting long shadows across the court, and a soft breeze carried the faint hum of spectators' anticipation. Eala adjusted her wristband, took a deep breath, and stared at the opposite baseline where her opponent was bouncing the ball with measured rhythm. This was not just another match. This was a test of grit, of resilience, and of something deeper, of willpower itself. The first set had been brutal. Every shot she made was met with a counter, every serve returned with precision. Eala's usually unshakable composure wavered slightly. She lost the first set 6-2, and as she walked back to the bench, the weight of defeat pressed on her chest. Sweat dripped down her temples, but she refused to wipe it away. In that moment, it became less about the game and more about summoning the inner flame that had brought her this far. Eala closed her eyes for a moment, tuning out the crowd, the chatter, the scoreboard. She thought about every early morning, every hour spent drilling forehands and serves, every setback that had taught her patience. She remembered the sound of her father's encouragement, the quiet mornings when she had whispered to herself that she could be better. It wasn't luck, it was preparation meeting opportunity. And she had the opportunity now. The second set began, and it was as if a switch flipped inside her. Her footwork became sharper, lighter, her shots more unpredictable. She found rhythm in the chaos, landing cross-court winners and deft drop shots that left her opponent scrambling. Every time she lost a point, she reminded herself that the match was a series of moments, not a verdict. She broke her opponent's serve early, then defended fiercely when the rallies extended. Each exchange was a test of endurance, a chess match of angles, spins, and timing. The crowd, sensing the shift, leaned forward in anticipation, their applause punctuating her triumphs and encouraging her through the rare missteps. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the tide turned. By the middle of the second set, the scoreboard read 4-4. Eala's breathing was steady, but her muscles ached from the intensity of the rallies. The sun had dipped lower, the shadows on the court stretching like the hands of a clock reminding her that time was finite. But somehow, she felt limitless. She dug deep into a reserve of energy that wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotional, spiritual. In a critical game at 5-5, she faced a set point against her. The ball came fast, slicing across the net. Her first instinct was fear, her second was defiance. She lunged, twisted her body, and delivered a forehand that clipped the line. The crowd erupted. That single point, seemingly small in isolation, ignited her. From there, she held serve, then broke her opponent to win the set 7-5. Now, the match hung in the balance, one set each. But what would follow would test her endurance in ways few had ever witnessed. The third set was a marathon, each game an epic of stamina and strategy. The rallies extended into 20, 30 strokes, each player unwilling to give an inch. Every drop of sweat, every gasp of breath, every ache in her legs became a badge of honor, a symbol of her unwavering resolve. Eala's mind entered a zone where time slowed. She felt every movement in her body like the ticking of a finely tuned instrument. She remembered the lessons of her youth, how losing wasn't failure, but surrendering without a fight was. She refused to surrender. At 4-4 in the decider, fatigue threatened to overpower her. Her legs screamed, her shoulders ached, and yet her resolve solidified. She focused on the ball, on the sound it made hitting the strings, on the rhythm of the court beneath her shoes. Each shot became intentional, each movement purposeful. Her opponent, sensing Eala's renewed vigor, faltered slightly, doubt creeping in. 2 games later, it was match point. Eala took a moment, inhaled deeply, and visualized the shot. She didn't just see it, she felt it, the trajectory, the landing, the opponent's struggle to reach it. Then she unleashed a serve so precise it barely kissed the line. The return was weak, and Eala pounced, driving the ball into an open corner. The crowd leapt as the ball landed. She had done it. 3 sets, 3 hours, an epic comeback. Eala dropped to her knees, hands pressed to the clay, feeling every emotion crash through her. Exhaustion, relief, triumph. She had willed herself back from the brink, not just with skill, but with belief in herself. Every match she had ever played, every setback she had endured, had led to this moment. In interviews afterward, she spoke softly about focus, about perseverance, about refusing to let fear dictate her performance. But anyone who watched her knew it was more than that. It was about willpower. Eala had willed her body and mind through every setback, and in doing so, she reminded the